Bitcoin. And as you can see, we've had a little bit of a bullish reaction from these lows, and then we had some increasing volume and a good nice buy up. Okay, so the volume is key here, so you want to see that the volume has come in. That's our first bullish reaction in a long while. This is the first bullish kind of indication. The other thing that was bullish with Slerf was the funding rate. So I noticed that this morning, and it's quite interesting because I haven't seen it at all on Slerf, and that is bullish funding rate. Let me explain what that means first, and let's have a look at it now to see what it is at the moment. You see that? So this is Bybit derivatives, inverse perpetuals, not inverse perpetuals, normal perpetuals. You see it's always been neutral, and then it's been bearish at times. Bearish, 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 bearish. That's red. And obviously I'm not really too fussed about these other exchanges, just Bybit. And you see yesterday, or was that this morning? It was this morning at 9 a.m. we had bullish funding rate for the first time on Bybit, and also BingX had bullish funding rate. It's gone back to neutral now, but you see how it was bullish. And so what that means is that the exchanges have too many shorts open and they're trying to close shorts, and so it goes to negative funding rate, which means that shorts are now having to pay longs which are open on an 8-hourly basis to keep their positions open. So when it goes to bullish, or when it means that the exchanges are now paying people to long or hold longs open. That's the first significant change or shift I've seen in this token since it's launched. Okay, bullish funding rate. And then obviously the other thing that I was interested in yesterday was this increasing volume here, this candle here, this one. You see the increasing volume there? So that's quite bearish to see that. So when I saw that the price action was kind of looking really droopy, and then we lost the lows here, and then someone just basically, what happened was someone just shorted. And I was kind of looking at that price action when it happened yesterday. There it is. Yeah. So let's just go to the 1 minute candle so you can see exactly what was going on. In about 1 minute, you had 2.134 million Slerf of volume. Yeah. And in that single candle, the price dropped about 4.5% or so. And then what's interesting is you had this following candle, this green dragonfly doji in the lows. And if you look at the volume, you can see it's pretty much the same. It's about 2 million Slerf of volume, and the price didn't move. Actually, it closed higher. So it's a contrast of two candles. You've got one high volume candle in 1 minute, and the price drops nearly 5%, and you have it's followed by another high volume candle, and the price doesn't move. If anything, it closes slightly higher, and it takes liquidity from the previous low. There was no real reference to why this candle did this, and I was looking at the whole price range, and I was just looking at why did we get a reaction here. Looking at historic price action, there was no reason why we reacted here, except it was the low of this red candle here. Okay, and was it a swing failure? That's the question. So let's have a look. No swing failure. So we made a slightly higher low than this candle here, this red candle here. And these red candles are the order candles. So the price went all the way down, filled the orders, and had a reaction. What's interesting about this area also is it came to my 1.272 ratio on this fib extension. So we've had a nice, I would consider that a really nice reaction. And at the moment, we're looking at a higher low at the moment. Yeah, unless the price wants to go down one more time. At the moment, that's what we're looking at. And obviously, you know, I've been considering some kind of bottom somewhere here. And just because the bad price action was extremely bearish, I was contemplating something like this. And the funny thing is, this is also valid. Yeah, so you have two types of harmonics in play. You have a butterfly, a bullish butterfly, and a bullish bat. And this would be a bat, right? And you just don't know which one is going to play out. You just have to wait for the reaction, wait for the sign of strength, and then you'll be looking for an entry with a clean invalidation. So in this context, that is your invalidation. If the low has been made, that is your low, then that would be your somewhere here. So the next question would be an entry, because you'd be looking for an entry then. Effectively up to the 50% mark of this range. You'd be looking at that. Like that. Perfect. All the way back up to that area of interest there. That 50% fib. Depending on how bearish it is, it could resist at any single point, any single fib. So you see already it's come up to the 236 and these previous pivots and found resistance. Yeah. So potentially, if this is the bottom of this harmonic and it's a bullish bat, not a butterfly, then you're looking at a target of 3195. Okay, in this context. Otherwise, we're still going down. Okay, and that's like, no one really knows what's going to happen. I think if and when the price is able to get above this pivot here, that would be confirmation. So what you really need is kind of above and a back test to hold for continuation. That's what we need to see for continuation in this context. Yeah. Obviously, the price could easily reject here as well and head right back down. And so that's the other thing in play. We're just seeing a little bit of a little relief before we have continuation. And we have to see how much relief we get, because the continuation could actually take this lower to complete a much more bullish, but also looking bearish in a sense, price action, but more like it's probably more bullish to have a butterfly taking out the lows for a reaction. Well, not really. I think this is probably more bullish actually, just because you put in a higher low. Let me just have a look at these timings as well to see if I see anything interesting here. It's kind of come, look, see, it's coming on the 618 almost. Could it come further down like next week? That's definitely also, like, it's funny because you'll be looking at one harmonic here, potentially pulling up, going up all the way to here, but you could still end up here. You could still end up there. Yeah. So even though we're going up, if we do manage to kind of have a little bit of a pump to there, you could still go all the way down there to complete this harmonic. Yeah, so even though potentially we're forming some kind of bullish bat, you could still go up, find resistance and reject, go down all the way down to actually complete a much deeper move down to form a different kind of harmonic. So you have to kind of bear that in mind, and then you have to kind of see where the price is looking to find resistance. So in this context, that would be perfectly acceptable, wouldn't it? Come back up to the 50%, complete this harmonic, react to a perfect reaction of this harmonic, but still to continue down to form a much deeper move. I think I'm more inclined, I mean, this would get people bearish or bullish, and that's the thing. This is the other thing. As the price comes above these pivots, people are going to start longing, and it may actually just be a little bit of a mid-move correction for a deeper move to the downside. And that's what we have to see what happens next. We have to see how that plays out. And then the other thing I'm kind of keeping in mind is if this doesn't go down, if it goes up and up and up, and so looking at the local time frame, the lower time frame, this was actually really quite impulsive, wasn't it? This is quite impulsive too. Yeah, so that was quite impulsive. We have some kind of flat correction here. That's quite impulsive, isn't it? It's quite impulsive. Maybe some kind of correction here of sorts. I don't know. And then maybe we have another little move up. It happens. You get lots of these like little 5-wave moves. So I don't necessarily think we're just going to go up, 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 and up. But probably up, down. You know, have to come back and back test. So just got to be aware of the way the price moves. It's not going to be a straight line up. But there is a little bit of volume, and so in the context of the volume that's come in today, if you take a kind of slightly wider time frame, you see our candle of interest is this nice big green candle. If I go to the 1 hour time frame, you can see it clearly. Just like these now. Oh my god, there's too much drawings. Just change it. Whatever. Analysis. So you see you've got these kind of increasing volume. Probably that's the big one, isn't it? It's the big green candle on the 1 hour time frame. The first sign of weakness here would be to come back on. You see, you lost the top of it and you came back above it. So you obviously don't want to come back into that candle again. So the first sign of weakness here in this local price action would be to come back into it. And then obviously to lose the candle, start closing 1 hour candles underneath that. That would be really bearish price action after you seeing some injection of volume. Okay. So in this context, you've got quite a tight invalidation. In the first instance, you don't want the price to come in back here, and in the second instance, you don't want to come right back down here. And so as long as this continues, we might actually start seeing some bullish price action continue here. You know, we've put in a lower low here, we've taken out the lower high. That's your lower high. We still haven't taken out this high here, this higher high. So we're still potentially we could change market structure here if we take out that high with the 5-minute time frame. That's kind of what we're in the process of doing now. That was your higher high here, and we're looking to take it out. If we take out that higher high, this will become your higher low, and then we can start seeing how far this little kind of bullish rally can continue. Yeah. So I mean, on the higher time frame, I think everything is still determined on what happens to Bitcoin. Nothing really changes with regards to that. Slerf hasn't looked strong in the last few days or even week, and we've had a bit of a sell-off. Maybe this is the correction complete, or whatever this was. Maybe we're going down further. Maybe this is just one kind of little relief rally before we take another dump. No one can really predict that. In any case, you can clearly see that we came down to test and hold, potentially hold this pivot here. Yeah. So this is the right place if the bulls are actually in control for the price to find support and go up. Yeah, this is the right place. Value area low, little fake out, back into the value area, into this area of interest here, little reaction from this pivot, higher low. Could we be putting in a higher time frame higher low here. And what's interesting is we went quite close to this pivot here. Could we be doing the same thing here? It looks very similar. Huh? How far did that come to? That was the 886. How far is this? 886. It's just literally what's happening right now is you see here it went all the way down and it came up to the 886, and in reverse we've come up here, and in a kind of zigzag formation we've come down to the 886. So there is a pattern here, and potentially this could be the, this could be the low. Huh? This could be the low. It's possible. Yeah, so while everyone is like mega bearish, just bear in mind that we're not far from what could be the low, and all we need to see is some kind of pattern, a bottoming pattern here, which is going to give people confidence to break out of these lows and head to higher prices potentially. Yeah, and so naturally you've got this kind of lower trend line that's formed, very symmetrical to the top one. Yeah, it'd be fun. It'll be quite interesting to see what happens, but I mean, it'd be funny if we just do this. Yes, you know, just over the next few months, and all we're really doing is just kind of range bound behavior with lower highs, higher lows over an extended period of time, putting in volume here. Okay, that in my mind, that's the most likely course of action, course of price action, just because the momentum's still quite heavily to the downside. So I'm not actually expecting some kind of crazy breakout to the upside. I like that the prices come back to the 886. I like that we are potentially forming higher lows and lower highs, and maybe, you know, maybe it's one down to there. And how would I do this? No, like this. So maybe one. How would I do this? 1, 2, 3. No, maybe. Don't know how I would do this because of this pivot here. You'd have to hold higher lows here, retrace to back to the 50%, down to the higher low, lower high, higher low, higher low here, all the way up to the top there, back down to the middle, back to the top, back down to the middle, and then maybe up or down, depending on if you hold support. But to go up, we have to be in the top part, and that's what I've got in my mind. And then obviously I don't expect us to just go up, and the only other way we can go up here would be if we had a crazy V-shaped recovery. So I'm not expecting that, and certainly not while we haven't even got past halfway. So potentially up, down, up, up, down, up. And then obviously this doesn't actually need to go up. It could go like that. So it wouldn't be very likely to just do that. It'd be more like and we've seen how strong a down moves we can have with this token. We've had really strong up moves, really strong down moves. It's very possible that this, I mean, in an inverse of this inversely looks like a V shape, but inverse. So if this was technically, if this was to be a strong bearish price action, then you couldn't technically actually come above this inverse golden pocket here. That would be your resistance line. So that's how we would know if this is strong or not. If the price can get back above that point and get all the way up to the 50%, then we're probably looking at more like a range bound consolidation period here, accumulation, consolidation, call it what you want. And then I've got this with it going up. That would be bullish for the price to get into the highs again. If it was bearish, you'd go up and then you'd just be making lower highs, and then you'd be looking for lower highs until it drops. Bullish would be for us to actually break out of the low of this range and start testing the highs again. And then obviously, as long as you're in the top half, then you're probably going to be bullish. And if you start dropping to the bottom, you'll probably be looking for bearish price action to the downside. So what I would like to see now is where we find resistance. Do we find resistance off this neckline here? That would be really bearish. That would be like the most bearish situation here after this kind of little bounce. If we go up a bit more, find resistance there, just to kind of do that. Yeah, that would be the inverse of a V-shaped recovery. So it's like that's your V, and that's the neckline. Find resistance, and we're going down. Okay, that'd be really bearish. If we break that and we go up to 50%, that would be cool. Then I'll be looking for a retracement to make some kind of higher low here, and we'd have to see that maybe once or twice before we can have a big attempt to the top of this range. And I don't necessarily think we're going to break out in any time soon of the top side of the range. So I'd be focused in on a wide range here first. Okay, so there's lots of options here. I'm not really bearish right now, to be honest with you. I was bearish up there, but here at the lows, I'm in the long. I'm bullish. I'm more bullish here than I'm in the highs, and I'm less bearish here than I'm in the highs. So inversely, I'm bullish down here, and naturally, I'm looking for a bottom. At the lows, you're looking for a bottom. You're looking for signs of reversal. Like I said, we have a couple of signs of strength. We had the increase of value. We had swing failure of these lows. And we're back above the structure. See, there's quite a few bullish signs here. You add that to the funding rate, which was bullish for a brief time, and now it's back to neutral now. A bit of a short squeeze here, potentially. And what I'm expecting now, at the very least, is just to go back into this structure here. At least here, just for a test. I'm expecting that. And we'll see. We'll see what happens next with Slerf. Right, so it's kind of Slerf update today, not as long as usual. Just because I see green candles doesn't mean you're going to long. You're still going to zoom in and look for good entries or a good setup to long on the lower time frame if you're looking to long on the higher time frame. So if people are looking to long this now, usually the best entries are high volume swing failures. Yeah, sometimes you don't get them. I usually zoom in on the lower time frame for those kinds of entries. You see here, you've got this high volume red candle here. You see you had a little pivot here. It was a high volume candle, and as the price came back above, price just went up. So these are kind of the best types of long entries, these swing failures with high volume. They give you the best entries. Okay, the best one obviously was when you have increasing volume at the lows. This is the 3-minute time frame, but you see here, I usually go to the 1 minute actually, to be honest with you. That's when you get to see the actual individual volume come in here. Look, see here. Got a pivot here. Look at that. Increasing volume red candle on the 1 minute time frame. See that? It came underneath the pivot and it closed just at the pivot, basically. So these are the best entries if you're looking to long. This high volume swing failure, invalidation at the lows, that's a long. And when you are looking to long and you're trading with the trend, the swing failure, then the price can actually trend quite well. Yeah, so technically these are the best ones. Short of that, you know, the lower of a range, a volume range, or the point of control, or short of that, if you're seeing higher lows, then effectively you're looking for higher lows. Yeah, so in this context, you can see we're forming higher lows here. Higher lows. If you want that trend to continue, you wouldn't buy the highs, you'd buy the lows, but you're looking for higher lows. If you see that trend, just follow the trend. You see here from this pivot made, minus that one, high low here, putting in higher lows here. Now you want this trend to continue. Yeah, so you don't want to lose these lows now that you're putting in higher lows. And certainly in this context, you don't want to get back into these volume candles and lose these volume candles, and for the price, otherwise the price will fall back down here, and then it's going to look really bearish. Yeah. So if you start seeing weakness, you'll see it very easily, because the price action will show you. It will start with lower lows. Yeah, so it's not difficult to see what the price is doing, and that will help you adjust your bias when you come to trade and come to buy and sell. BTCD is interesting. It shows weakness.